Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect, you sincere brothers and sisters coming back to the Most High God, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai in these latter days. All right, and ultimately taking heed to sound doctrine through the Holy Spirit, which is a gift. Faith is a gift in these latter days. News and prophecy, going into things that are happening worldwide as well as here in Babylon the Great, showing you that all of these things are happening because the Heavenly Father ordained it via biblical prophecy. Right, as the scriptures say, seal not the sayings of the book in prophecy. You see what I'm saying? So as we can see here, our enemy and all of our enemies are, as they have, the world captivated with all kind of, false flag scenarios, all kind of enchantments. The news is all over the place. And this is organized chaos so that they can bring order. They are meeting next week, I believe, January 19th. As you can see here, Trump set to lead. Okay, as we have seen how stout Babylon the Great has been over their fellows of this confederacy. All right, it's clear and evident that biblical prophecy is coming to pass. All right, the very beast system that would dominate the earth is coming to its end. But as the scripture said, before they fall, they're going to ultimately have a very, 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 very large task ahead of them to basically hijack the Heavenly Father's creation. All right. Including, humanity, human beings, bringing them into a new order to where they will have to merge themselves with technology. Everything is synthetic. AI governance, it's on its way. And these are the things that they are getting ready to meet. All right, here in Davos. All right, Trump set to lead the largest ever U.S. delegation. All right, the largest ever. All right, U.S. delegation to World Economic Forum in Davos next week. All right, and we've already showed you in previous videos. If you didn't know, the word Davos means son of David. See, and who is the son of David? That's Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. You see that? And pretty much these devils via their enterprise are planning to X out Yahweh Shai, all right, and undermine the Heavenly Father's plan and authority to set up his only begotten son, as it is written here in Psalms, the 2nd chapter, the 1st verse. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, all right, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. All right. And when you read this, okay, in another version, all right, it says, let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to the Most High. So they're trying to basically remove themselves from up under the authority of the Most High, and pretty much undermine his plan, which is written in the Holy Scriptures. And what is the plan? That all knees will bow. All right. All nations will be in subject, all right, to the nation of Israel, all right, under the authority of the only begotten Son of the Most High, the true Son of David, right, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. So they are meeting together and taking counsel to undermine prophecy, okay, undo what is. It's a very, very proud task, all right, but we're here to show you and tell you that this is what they're doing, okay? This is not a game, and 2026 has already, been full of chaos and craziness, and they plan on taking it up a notch, Okay, because they only have but a short time. All right, they're at the end of their little season. See, but he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. So the Lord is laughing, man. This is why you have to be at comfort. Although we do these videos and we show you the wicked plans of the devil and the power that they've been blessed with, really the power on the right hand side is is that's what we have on our side, man. And we have to be comforted. So he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh and shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, as he rebukes their wicked inventions and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet I have set my king upon my holy hill. I will declare the decree. Yahweh said unto me, thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. And as you can see, King David here is tapping into the spirit of what was told to Yahweh Shai from the very beginning and the reason he was created. All right. To have control of the earth. All right. And all the heathen that are therein. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance. Just like, all right, the apostle Peter, all right, told Yahweh Shai, you are the son of the Most High. And Yahweh Shai told him, flesh and blood have not showed you this, but my Father in heaven have opened this up to you, which is a gift. Here it is. King David is pretty much doing the same thing. He's giving you the Heavenly Father's words to his only begotten son. Okay. Basically, you know, when you tell your son, if you need anything, let me, you know, I got you. This is what the Lord told his son. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, in the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. See, and the powers that be have their plan. They have their mind set out to control the uttermost parts of the earth and control what they call the heathen, or the goyim, and put them up under their rulership in a wicked, demonic, all right, plan, okay, to control the world with AI, you know, brain interfaces, microchips, and everything else that we're getting ready to show you now, clear as day. All right, you see this World Economic Forum, okay, which is all kind of hidden symbolism. You see the eagle. Okay. Everything should be clear to you if you've been paying attention, man, that these are the Edomites. And as you can see, that 666 is hidden in there. Okay. That 666, which is the number that we were warned to look out for concerning this man and his wicked, degenerate plan, you know, associated with Chi Psi stigma. All right. The 666, which is, you know, embedded in this man's system, is all over the place. This is the man of sin, and they are meeting next week. All right. And they are planning, okay, because they think they need to get things in order. And the scriptures tell you, okay, because they have but a short time. They're going to operate in a very, you know, demonic manner, and it's going to be tacky, but they're going to try it. See that? This is the book of Isaiah 47:10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, speaking to the daughter of Babylon, and thou hast said, none seest me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, which is thy witchcraft. See what I'm saying? As we're going to show you later, are you these devils, you know, in their fifth industrial revolution, all right, have this new AI supercluster called Project Prometheus, which Prometheus, okay, deals with Greek mythology. Okay, as we've been showing you over the you know, this past year. Okay, all of the ancient idols and mythologies of the ancient Greco-Roman Empire are now being played out via this technology that they have. But we will get into that because I know the Elder Bishop Inop, he talks about Prometheus. We'll show you, you know, some of the plans of these devils and what they're doing. But, you know, they're trusting in their wickedness. They're trying to make a name for themselves. All right. Which brings back the spirit of Nimrod. Okay. And the Tower of Babel, which is where you get the word Babylon, which means confusion. And we're witnessing a Tower of Babel like scenario, okay, but on a whole nother level. See, thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, Isaiah 47:10, and thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it have perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, or thy mind, I am, and none else beside me. That's basically establishing himself as God, okay, as the Most High himself, undermining the authority that he, and plan that he has for his only begotten Son to rule. See, therefore, evil shall come upon thee, that thou shalt not know where it came from, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So this is not going to end well for Babylon the Great. Although the news and the media hypes these devils up as having this and being great, and they're even boasting about the technology they went over there and Venezuela and used. It's not going to end well for any of you heathen. World War III is ultimately going to lead to the demise of all of you heathen. And upon that is going to be the return of Yahweh Shai, man. As he says earlier in each chapter, okay, he's not going to meet you as a man. Isaiah 47:3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. And we're seeing it. I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. So Yahweh Shai is not going to return as the lamb, all right, to the slaughter. He did that already. We did that already. See that? So it's getting ready to get bad for you devils, man. But the Lord is going to put a hardened heart in this devil to really, really, really double down on this wicked plan. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so, thou shalt be able to prevail. Let's see. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. And historically, Esau, Edom is into the left hand, these left hand practices, witchcraft, sorcery, sacrifice, dealing with the stars, astrologers, stargazers, all of that, enchantments. And they're wearied in the multitude of their counsels. All right. When you look up this word counsel, all right, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels, weary, tired, drunk. Itazah, right? Counsel, advice, purpose, all right? And wait till you hear the theme, just like we have a theme, all right, to our new year. These devils got a theme, all right, to their so-called new year, and the theme to their happenings, man. So they're meeting right here in Davos, which is the highest city, all right, not the highest point, but the highest city in Europe. See that? It's the highest city in Europe. Yes, Davos, Switzerland is widely known as the highest town or city in Europe. I believe the highest point is somewhere in like Russia, but the highest city, right? So this is a high place. Okay, and historically in the scriptures, the heathen are known to have their high places. Now, what did the heathen do in their high places? Okay, it's a modern day high place. Okay. Pagans in high places, hills or mountains, right? Elevated spots conducted worship activities like making sacrifices, animals sometimes, abominable things like, mice, swine, of course, humans now, right? Burning incense, offering drink offerings, setting up altars, erecting religious symbols, stone pillars, for local deities, often fertility gods, Baal, Astarte, or divine spirits. And that's what this whole system is rooted in. See that? This is what they're doing here. And they're meeting, all right, as we'll show you the theme of this year. As a matter of fact, what we'll do is I'll just get into this video here because they are wearied in the multitude of their counsels, man. Okay, this is a video, Crypto Casey. All right. WEF 2006 Massive Control Grid Unleashed. Digital IDs, central bank digital currency, social credit, tokenization. Let's get into it. We'll skip around in this video, and then we'll jump to a few other videos and articles that we have, and hopefully you're edified.
While most of us are all looking at our post-holiday credit card bills, preparing our tax returns, getting back to work, back into the swing of things, and speculating what this new year has in store for us, the small group of elites who actually pull the levers of the global economy, the puppet masters of this wild world, are packing their bags, fueling their private planes, en route to Switzerland. On January 19th, the World Economic Forum begins its annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland. And their PR slogan for this year is a spirit of dialogue, which couldn't be farther.
A spirit of dialogue. This is their council. This is what they're talking about this year, a spirit of dialogue. All right, before we finish this, we'll jump to him. It's boring ass, but let's just listen to him.
Able to collaborate together, we can also lead to substantial economic growth in the decades to come. But of course, we do need to avoid major conflicts, and that's why we also launched our theme for this year, Spirit of Dialogue. And I think that has also led to a lot of interest from all over the world. And also from journalists and media. We have record participation, not only at this press conference, but also in Davos. And the interest is to come together at the beginning of the year to try to connect the dots, decipher, and also see areas where we can collaborate. Dialogue is not a luxury. Dialogue is really a necessity, because many of the problems we are still faced with, we need to collaborate on. Future pandemics, we're losing $5 to $6 trillion US a year in cybercrime and other crime following this. So this has led to a situation where we do have historic record participation at our annual.
Historic and record participation. Okay. Trump is set to lead the largest ever U.S. delegation to the World Economic Forum. And we know this is where Klaus Schwab coined the fourth industrial revolution, where the people change. The world will change, but also the people. And he stepped down, but he's somewhere in the back. He he's there doing his sacrifices and talking his crap, which is rumored that Klaus Schwab is one of the Red Shield people, because they go around changing their last names and basically doing what they do. But the last time we saw Trump at the World Economic Forum, he was swagged up. So, man, I can't wait to see this year. Now, keep in mind when you see clips from what's going on at the World Economic Forum, they're just giving you a tidbit of really what's happening. You're only going to see a small percentage of what's really going on. They're not going to let out what's really being talked about. But the Holy Spirit is having them to speak out on particular things that they do want to do. As you heard him say, cybersecurity. These are some of the things that they want to talk about. Okay.
This also opens up for huge opportunities in the spirit of dialogue. We have more than 3,000 leaders coming to Davos. We have a record participation of heads of state and government. We have 64 heads of government and state currently. This number is increasing every day. So today I can say to you that we do expect 6 out of 7 G7 leaders in Davos. This is historic, and we're also expecting more leaders from the emerging economies than at any other point in our history.
So this is big. Something big is getting ready to happen, and they're not going to agree. All right, they're ultimately they're getting ready to, they'll sit at the table and talk, but when it's all said and done, prophecy is going to come to pass, where this whole alliance and confederacy is going to break up. Okay, and it's going to be at the helm, at the head of it is going to be Amalek and Babylon the Great. Okay, so like she said, while everybody is, getting back in the swing of things, preparing their taxes, trying to shake back from buying all them, unnecessary Christmas gifts, which ties into eating, drinking, and being merry. Okay, tapped into the bread and circuses, confused. The powers that be, the super elite, are planning the overthrow. Okay, and meeting together on what they need to do to go ahead and set this thing up, especially over here in the West, which they're going to be met with resistance. So they got the AI infrastructure in place. They got Palantir. They got the military ready to roll. So they're getting ready to meet because something big is coming.
From the truth. It's going to be more like a doctrine of dialogue, featuring the imposition of top-down, non-negotiable, bureaucratic, authoritarian enforcement, with no room for dissent, debate, much less an actual dialogue. It's a complete and total doctrine of domination. When we read the white papers they've been quietly publishing, or
the white papers that they've been quietly publishing, okay, because they, the Lord has them at the scriptures say, then shall that wicked be revealed. So he's put a spirit on them to come out with some of their actual plans. The scriptures say their own tongue shall fall upon themselves. And see, we live in an age where people like her and other people, are doing videos reporting on this. Of course, the prophets, but these people are set up to help us. Now we pick out the meat and we throw away the bones because, ultimately, we know that the prophets have been given the Holy Spirit to tap into the scriptures. But the Lord has set up that third witness, man, who ultimately helps us. Even ChatGPT is basically like, now the rabbit has the gun. You see what I'm saying? And now the Lord has set up a situation where his prophets have access to a heap of information. You see? And we ultimately, through the Holy Spirit, do these videos to bring it to you. Because what these devils got planned ain't nothing nice, man. But let's keep listening.
the last 6 months. They're not going to Davos to ski. They're going to Davos to finalize the infrastructure for the next decade of control. The global digital IDs, digital money, digital assets, centralized tokenization of assets, regulation of agentic AI, the end of what shreds of privacy, independence, and autonomy.
See, the end of privacy, AI, domination. Okay?
Yeah, but they're building a digital cage, a digital prison. And today we are going to explore the blueprints in order to build our exit strategy. Hello, I'm Crypto Casey, and this is not.
And the exit strategy is going up into the chariot. There's really no way out. All right? This is the scenario that they're setting up on Earth. But the Lord is going to use a lot of people to basically fight back against this madness, because this is basically what Nimrod tried, but on a whole nother level.
Not a conspiracy theory. This is an official narrative. The World Economic Forum isn't a secret cabal. It's a trade show for the ruling class, where CEOs of the biggest banks, heads of state, the central bankers agree on the official narrative of the year. And this year, the stakes are different. They are the highest in history because the technology they've been dreaming about for decades is finally ready to deploy. Look, the best way to front-run the digital prison being built is by setting up our own parallel systems outside of their failing fiat system right now. It's easier than ever to implement, and as we will learn throughout this terrifying video, it's now more important than ever to implement. One, we can get a free account with up.
See, our only plan is what's written in biblical prophecy, man. Okay, divine intervention, spiritual power, all right, getting beamed up into the chariot. Okay, but the Lord has particular people on the earth that really believe that they're going to set up some sort of, underground railroad to get out of this man's grips.
Hold the best wealth management platform that replaces banks and exchanges. By getting our paychecks direct deposited into Uphold and using their new debit cards, we can sever our ties with the traditional financial system.
Let's move around here.
Christine Lagarde, the head of the European Central Bank, Europe's Federal Reserve scam, has been on a media blitz recently, pushing the digital euro. Check it out.
The two other big projects that we have worked on and will continue to work on in 26 are, number one, the digital euro. We have completed the cycle of the preparation. The Governing Council has given its go-ahead to move to the next cycle, and we're now waiting for the European Parliament to come up with final legislation that will go ahead for the pilot phase and then the launch.
So here's the deal. Lagarde has been using buzzwords like autonomy, falsely framing the digital euro as European sovereignty. She says Europe needs its own digital currency to be free from American and Chinese payment rails, free from Visa, MasterCard, and big tech.
See, these devils are going into this NWO divided. So they're going to have they're going to try to come together and meet and, try to, get to some sort of agreement. But we know prophetically the alliance that Esau has, his allies are going to turn on him. Okay. But all right, as the scriptures say in the book of, let's get Revelation, the 17th chapter. Okay. Revelation, the 17th chapter, and the 16th verse. And the 10 horns, the EU, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That's the future. This is what's promised. No matter what they come together and try to, act like they're going to agree upon. But we can see they're already divided. For the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, and to the words of the Most High should be fulfilled. So they've agreed up until this point where now things are getting ready to take a very, very interesting turn prophetically.
Way to have direct connection between European citizens and money, and by proxy, all the things involved with money. Like keeping a roof over your head, paying utilities, buying life essentials, literally keeping food on the table so you can continue to live. A direct connection between Europeans, the government, and the private central bank. Because the beauty of it all, with digital money laundering and terror financing risks radically decrease. Hallelujah. Wait, so
all right, so this is going to be peace and safety. We already know that. Okay.
what's this mean for our privacy? Well, good news. Although the new digital euro cannot be anonymous like cash, where no one knows how we are using our money, the new digital euro offers confidentiality, which means that our neighbors won't know how we are using our money. However, the
They
government
will
and
know.
central bank definitely knows everything. And the government and central bank not only know how digital euros are being used, they have complete control over how digital euros can be used. Digital euros are a central bank digital currency that is essentially programmable money at any point, at any time, whenever they want. They can change how money works. This is the most dangerous aspect for us and the most compelling aspect for them. Check it out. Lagarde point blank says that a central bank digital currency, like the new digital euro, is necessary for crisis management, which includes capital controls. So, for example, if there was a banking crisis and people are making a run on the bank to protect their money, there's no need to close down.
And we know what prophecy said. They're going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to get that mark. Okay, let's jump to this social credit score
For
system.
decades. If we want to know what crisis management looks like, what programmable control looks like in practice, look no further than China right now. We are seeing reports of a new class of people emerging in China, the financial homeless. These aren't just people who ran out of money. These are people who have been banned from money by China's social credit system. What is a social credit system? A social credit system tracks, monitors, punishes, and rewards people based on certain behavior standards created by the government. And since
Now, the elder Manata Zakba did a video. I watched it earlier. I watched the whole thing, called "The Prophetic Walls Are Closing In." Right? See if we can get this to load. The internet wants to act up. The internet's been tripping. I mean, we at the end, man. Okay, but I'll let that load up. But basically, in that video, it gave a preview of what a world that they are trying to create looks like. Okay, with a social credit score, things like this. I think I have it up here. That they're talking about setting up here in the Americas, get an automatic ticket in the mail if you speed in a work zone. So just imagine the tyranny that's coming. All right. Transportation, MDOT, and Michigan State Police will be able to deploy camera and sensor systems in certain work zones to detect vehicles traveling 10 miles per hour or more over the posted limit. You think it's just going to stop there in work zones? No, it's eventually going to be all over. All right. The highway everywhere. And AI is slowly but surely going to become your new government, your new police, everything. All right. And before you know it, these types of things are going to be set up. Now, let's see if this video loaded. Give me 1 second here. This is the video here. The prophetic walls are closing in. GMS South Carolina 08. To give you a, just a illustration of what a world that they are trying to set up looks like. As this guy here, which he was saying some decent things, but they're of the opinion that they're going to be able to stop this through, standing up and taking America back. Tyranny shall not prevail. Well, the Lord is going to allow it to prevail to a degree, but this is where his only begotten son and the aspect of the holy angels and spiritual power comes in. You're not going to be able to, put up any force against this by mere human strength. Now, the Lord is going to have a lot of people protesting and fighting, but they're going to be a shield for the elect. So it's good that you have people in the spirit, but we know as the hopeful members of the elect that This is not our fight. This world has to go. This thing called America has to collapse. Okay? The powers that be have to do what they're going to do. Okay?
Good morning, citizens. Your overnight account balances have been updated. Time to start a productive day. Final notice, your account balance is below 500. You need 50 credits by the end of the day to avoid automatic eviction. If you have missed work due to illness, you must provide a doctor's note to reclaim your credits.
Any extra credits? Please.
Tensions are high today, with more people planning to join the Citizens Against Digital Control protest. Remember, the government knows who you are at all times. Resisting is not worth the consequences. All of their newest social credit systems are designed to keep you and your families safe and efficient.
Authorities seized the record balance of an individual's credits, citing excessive hoarding.
Traffic violation detected. 7 miles per hour over the limit. 75 credits have been automatically deducted.
Be fucking kidding me.
Yep, you got the flu. Your blood work shows a significant iron deficiency. I recommend incorporating more red meat into your diet.
Dr. Jones, your taxes were not filed and have been automatically deducted with late fees. Your medical license has been revoked.
Oh, hell nah, I filed an extension.
And this is all AI. It's crazy.
Purchase denied. Monthly red meat allowance exceeded. Try mealworms instead.
Guys, please let me through.
Attention. Unauthorized political gathering detected. Participants' access to financial services has been suspended.
And John the Revelator saw this kind of scenario in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay, where if you didn't bow to his image, he basically killed you. The word kill means to also cut you off from the system. So though this is just an illustration, this is kind of like what they want. And China is already sort of there. Okay.
Due to the speeding infraction, your car will be immobilized for 3 days.
You take your surveillance policies and rot in hell.
You've earned 50 bonus credits for reporting your neighbor's hateful misconduct.
This is hell. Imagine that.
This content exceeds your current social credit tier. May we suggest citizen responsibility? Sarah, open the door. You have been identified by the authorities. Don't resist. Don't resist. Don't resist.
Great time.
So you check this video out by the elder Manat Zakba. You know, this video here, she's going into some of the things that they are going to be discussing in this year's Davos. I mean, pretty much we always talk about it. We'll skip through a few more.
2014, China has been using a social credit system that ranks people based on certain actions they take in society that determines their credit worthiness, which grants or restricts their access to education, transportation, employment, the internet, healthcare, loans, mortgages, financial services, certain restaurants, renting in certain buildings, actual use of their CBDC, and all kinds of basic human conveniences. China punishes people who don't recycle, who drive badly, speak out against the government, protest against injustices, jaywalk across the street.
And what did they say? What did Klaus Schwab say? China is the model for the world we want. So imagine them trying to set up a system like that over here in Babylon the Great. That's going to cause a lot of friction. But after the necessary, events and, black swan events, who knows? Blackouts, internet outage, the threat of, domestic terror, all of that. They're going to, say we need to set up this system. So this is what they're going to be discussing.
Associate with people who behave badly, and even people who use VPNs or virtual private networks. So basically, China's social credit system uses a judgment defaulter blacklist. where if anyone's social score drops below a certain level from spreading rumors, not keeping their phone charged above a certain percentage, jaywalking, not paying bills on time, they get put on a blacklist. That creates a death spiral, starting with losing their ability to spend money, losing their ability to travel to find work, losing their ability to secure a place to live, a death spiral that ultimately ends with financial homelessness. These people end up on the streets not because the economy failed them, rather because the database's algorithm imprisoned them. Last year alone, over 200,000 people in China were blacklisted. This is the weaponization of the banking system. This is exactly the kind of control grid that central bank digital currencies make possible globally, and it's coming to a country near you. For Europeans, sooner than later. All right, so what else is on the agenda? Next week in Davos, they are finalizing digital identities, digital IDs. And it's not just some digital version of our driver's licenses or passports. These digital IDs are what they call wallet-based.
So we always get into the digital ID,
Be on our wallets at the mercy of the central bank.
tokenization,
All of our assets.
AI. You know, they're bringing in everything that we've been talking about. This is what they're going to be discussing in this particular upcoming, you know, Davos event. Now, real quick, I wanted to play some of this video here. This is off of the Jimmy Dore show. Let me let it load. We'll jump to around we'll jump to around 5 minutes. Lord willing, it plays.
They look the same. Him and Mark Zuckerberg, they look the same.
They look exactly the same. They are the same. They look like clones of each other. No personality, no ideas of their own. They're just robots. How did they become so successful, right? And OpenAI, guess what, guys? Makes no money, but at the same time, they get trillions of dollars from investors.
So OpenAI makes no money. People, we've already heard people like Sam Altman saying, we got to have the government bail us out when we fail. Just like a bank. They're already doing that. So if it fails and we lose $500 billion, the government's got to bail us out, right? So this is such a great observations. Hey, it doesn't even make any money. OpenAI doesn't make money yet. There's still people are pouring billions of dollars into hundreds of billions.
And Salaki, the name of the video is "Here's How the Pentagon Created Silicon Valley." It's a real good video, but I want to get a few points out of it, get some scriptures, and then we'll jump to the next topic, and I'll try to speed it up.
To build data centers, okay? And these data centers allow you to make really nice pictures and videos online that do nothing, okay? Why is all this money being spent except one day to create a surveillance state? Okay? That's what makes sense. The idea that these things exist so that you can play on the computer makes no sense. But these things exist in order to one day have complete control over what you do, what you think, and how you behave. That makes sense now, okay? Pax Judaica.
Pax Judaica. Whitney Webb explained this when she was on the show, that the government was setting up this thing to completely surveil everybody all the time and be predictive. But then they found out that there was too many constitutional problems with the government doing this, because we have the Fourth Amendment and we have freedom of speech, we have privacy, we have all that stuff built into our Constitution, and so the government couldn't do it, so they had to find private companies to do it. One of them is Facebook. So let me read this to you. The Pentagon canceled its so-called LifeLog project. Now, Whitney Webb had told us about this. An ambitious effort to build a database tracking a person's entire existence. It was run by DARPA, which is the military, the Defense Department's research arm. LifeLog aimed to gather in a single place just about everything an individual says, sees, or does. The phone calls made, the TV shows they watch, the magazines they read, the plane tickets bought, the emails sent and received. Out of this seemingly endless ocean of information, computer scientists would plot distinctive routes in the data, mapping relationships, memories, events, and experiences. So when they stopped doing that, so when they figured out it's too tough to do it, so when the Pentagon cancels its so-called lifelong project, they just transferred it to Facebook and now to Palantir. That's what, so
this is what's happening.
So when they say canceled, they mean renamed Facebook. That's what they mean by that. Oh, they canceled it? DARPA canceled this project? Did they really? Or did they just rename it Facebook? So
and when you look at these Edomites and the people who are at the forefront, who the hell are these people? And what's wrong with them? Look at this dude. And all this spying, let's get a scripture real quick. Um, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, because come on, man. Ecclesiastes, like all this spying on people that they want to do, knowing your thoughts. Ecclesiastes 7:21. Don't eavesdrop on others. You may hear your servant curse you, and that's what they want to do. They're basically they've been using social media platforms. They've been even Facebook. Okay, pretty much all of the social media appeared. The internet is like a highway, and basically they've just put tolls everywhere to track you, where you're going, what you're doing, and basically they're putting you on a list based upon what you're saying, and they're getting ready to make a move. And rules are going to be passed. The laws are going to be passed that are loopholes around the Constitution. Don't eavesdrop on others. You may hear your servant curse you. For you know how often you yourself have cursed others. So ultimately, the scriptures tell you about eavesdropping and being nosy and getting into people's bed. They don't give a damn. See, what they're trying to do is what Nimrod wanted to do, but on a whole nother level. Okay? Genesis 11:4. And they said, go, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach into the heaven. Okay? And let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad upon the earth. And this is what these devils are trying to do. They want to be like the Most High, as it says in the book of 2 Thessalonians, man. All right. And in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter. And we always show you these same scriptures, but hey, they're speaking. Shum, name, reputation, fame, glory, to be famous. This is their new, age of enlightenment and, technological revolution. And they're going to present it as peace and safety, but it's centered around enslaving you on a whole nother level. Okay. Shawam. Okay. And this is where you get the name Shem, or anti-Sem is Shum, but Shawam, to appoint. They're trying to appoint themselves. Okay. They're trying to ordain themselves, constitute. They're trying to make a legacy for themselves. They're trying to make a name for themselves. Okay, using left-handed power. And this whole Genesis the 11th chapter is centered around Nimrod. Okay? And what it was centered around is gathering everybody up under a one world order. The new world order. What they're trying to do today is actually an old blueprint. But now they have a whole bunch of technology and, power in their hands. Okay. So they plan to make a city and a tower whose top may reach unto the heaven. Right. And to make a reputation or a name for themselves, unless they be scattered, because they heard about the prophecies that the Lord was going to end it. I'm sure there were prophets around this time, the family line of Shem. Because this is stated to happen around, when you read this lineage, the descendants of Shem, who were spoken of after the tower, through our Faxad, supposedly the Tower of Babel was around the time of Eber and Peleg. And Eber is where you get the name Hebrew, showing you that the name from the family of Shem means name, survived. The Hebrews, ultimately, there was a remnant that stood firm against this wicked plan of Nimrod. And ultimately, this is how the legacy of righteousness was continued. And then through Peleg, that means divided. Everything was divided. The nations, everybody got, the languages were divided. The Lord broke up their plan. Okay, but this when you look at what they were trying to do, Genesis 11:6, and the people, and the Lord said, behold, the people was one, and they all have one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. And this is where we are. Okay. They've gotten so far away from the Most High and from the righteousness that now nothing is too far out for them. Robot babies, come on now. Merging man with machine. See if we can get this in the AMP. And the Lord said, behold, they are one unified people. And this is what this whole thing is all about. Unifying everybody under one government. This is why they're getting ready to blame Islam. They're getting ready to blame Christianity. They're getting ready to blame Judaism. They're getting ready to blame everything and say humanity needs to unite, all right, under a one world order. Okay, this is what's being set up under our technocracy. And they all had, so the problem the Lord had with this plan that Nimrod had is said, behold, they are the people are one, they are unified, and they all have the same language. This is only the beginning of what they will do in rebellion against me. And now no evil thing they imagine they can do will be impossible. This is where we are today. These devils are out of their mind. Let's listen to a little bit more of this, because this is basically what the first attempt at a new world order. See, and I asked here, what was Nimrod's goal? Okay. Nimrod's goal, as portrayed in the Bible, okay, and later tradition of the Jews, can be understood on three interconnected levels: political, spiritual, and ideological. Okay, because when you look at all of these different myths and religions that are in the world today, they all have their roots in Sumeria, and that's Nimrod. That's ultimately the Ur of the Chaldees, the original Babylon, Babel. Okay. Okay. Nimrod is represented as the first world empire builder after the flood. Okay, it gives you that story. His political aim was to unite humanity under one centralized authority, replace tribal family and governance with imperial control, establish Babylon as the center of world power. This was new in human history, global rule rather than local leadership. Spiritual goal, defiance of the Most High. Okay. Nimrod is depicted as leading a rebellion against the Most High, encouraging humanity to trust in human strength. Basically, the same thing we're witnessing now, technology and unity. Okay. And they're going to scare you into to bow into this authority, right? Through all kind of shit they're getting ready to do. So basically, to trust in human strength, technology, and unity, and not divine authority. We don't need the Most High. Listen to Noah Yuval Harari, man. And he's just one devil. Promoting, you see, Trump played on you you Americans' emotions with this Jesus thing and being a Christian, but he's brought in the technocracy, promoting the idea that God would never judge the world again, so humanity should rule itself. Okay, no fear of the Lord. The Tower of Babel becomes the symbol of this defiance. Let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. Okay, key phrase, let us make a name. This directly contrasts with the Most High making an, no, you don't say that. Because basically making a name for yourself symbolizes you doing something great. So when Abraham's name was changed from Abram to Abraham, Jacob's name was changed from Jacob to Israel, that symbolized spiritual growth or a great happening. So they're trying to make a name for themselves. But when you look up that word name, it's reputation, fame, all right, and so forth as well. It says ideological goal, human self deification. Nimrod's deeper goal appeared to be human self exaltation. Okay, now there's this particular article here on this site. See if I can find it. See if it comes up. Yeah, Pete Hegseth. Okay, listen to this devil here. Says AI is God-given manifest destiny. Okay, there was another one where they're saying going against Trump is going against God. Okay, these are so-called Christians. See, but they're showing you what they're really all about. Okay, and I'm just running through this information. It says, Nimrod taught people to see strength in numbers, innovation, as salvation. Tower of Babel was not about height alone, but independence from the Lord. Yada, yada, yada. Force unity without righteousness, centralized power without accountability, progress without humility. Nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Unchecked human pride leads to tyranny, oppression, and spiritual ruin. Let's get the book of Sirach 10 and 8 in the GNT. Injustice, arrogance, and wealth cause nations to fall from power, and others then rise and take their place. Okay? Verse 12. Pride has its beginning when a person abandons the Lord, his maker. Pride is like a fountain pouring out sin, and whosoever persists in it will be full of wickedness. And this is what we're witnessing, man. Okay? That is why the Lord brought terrible punishments on some people and completely destroyed them. The Lord has overthrown kings and put humbler people in their places. The Lord hath pulled up nations by the roots and established humbler ones in their place. The Lord has overthrown empires and completely devastated their lands. He destroyed some so completely that they're not even remembered anymore. The Creator never intended human beings to be arrogant or violent. So this is what we're dealing with here. An arrogant, violent, proud demon who now has all of this power in his hands, and he wants to ultimately hijack the Heavenly Father's creation. Okay. And he's going to use the threat of all kind of scenarios, man. Online, theft, all of these various different things as a means to bring in a new order, man. So these devils, are now saying God has given, this is a God-given manifest destiny. And on the left-hand side, they're right. But see, they're trying to trick you all with the fact that they believe in this Jesus character. They believe they're Satanists, man. These devils have come to do the bidding of Satan, man. So Nimrod's goal was to build a global empire, unite humanity under human authority, remove dependence on the Most High, make humanity its own God, establish Babylon as the center of power worship. Okay. And you can compare Nimrod to, modern global systems and so forth, man. I said, if Nimrod had today's technology, what would he do with it? Things like Palantir, and the different surveillance technology like Babel Street. If Nimrod had today's technology, he would use it primarily for convenience or defense. He would use it for total unification, narrative control, and spiritual defiance, just like Babel, but on a digital scale. Think of modern tech as Babel without bricks. Okay. AI, the new wisdom from below. Okay. How Nimrod would use AI, centralized decision making, replacing moral conscience, predictive control of population's behavior. And this is what they're doing with Palantir, replacing prophets, elders, and conscience with objective machine logic. And this is what they're doing with this whole thing here. Okay, this Prometheus, Project Prometheus, which you'll tap into that just a little bit in just a minute. But this is what we're witnessing. That's why we're living in Babylon the Great. See? So you're able to link the old world with the new. That which is then is now. Okay? They've become vain. Okay? Artificial wisdom is now replacing the wisdom of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay? A tool to say we see all, we know all, we decide all. This mirrors Nimrod's original aim. Remove dependence on the Most High and replace it with human pride and authority. Palantir, predictive analyst, analytics, digital kingship. Palantir's core idea is seeing patterns before people act. Okay, Minority Report. Look up that movie. All right. We're arresting people based on things that they might do. As they track them, okay, then they then make moves on people. All right, based upon what they might do in the future. Okay, it says identify. Nimrod will use Palantir to identify resistance before it forms, label certain belief systems as extremism, preemptively neutralize prophets, dissenters, and separatists. See that? This is what's coming. Okay. This is empire level governance, not policing. Okay. Let's see here. Surveillance tech, Babel Street, one people, one language, one narrative. Modern surveillance enables mapping every relationship, monitoring speech, movement, belief, turning language itself into a track commodity. Okay? So, and we'll go back to this, but this is what we're witnessing. Okay?
Cone-skinned reptile puppet, stealthy, irritating, and toy-like, was recruited by the CIA. This guy was recruited by the CIA at Harvard, taking into, because everybody knows Harvard is infiltrated, just like MIT, completely by the CIA, completely, which is why people like Chelsea Manning aren't allowed to speak at Harvard. That's what. Do you get it now? Okay. Taking into account the Pentagon's DARPA written program, LifeLog, and $500 million to start the business. Isn't that amazing? If Mark Zuckerberg were any deeper in over his head, he'd be a turtle. So I showed you a bit of this before in my other video. I'm going to show you the rest of it right now. So just to let you know, Trump has tapped Palantir to create an entire database of all American citizens. It brings me no pleasure at all to inform you that Donald Trump is actively working with the very same deep state he claimed he would obliterate to create the largest surveillance database of Americans ever created. This plan is in lockstep with the UN Agenda 2030 goals and the WEF Fourth Industrial Revolution. MAGA, if you are observing this from afar,
now it's the Fifth Industrial Revolution,
and holding on to any semblance of hope that Trump is who he said he was, sadly, it's time to wake up to the brutal realization. Trump is constructing the New World Order. Just as I unfortunately suspected, he has been over the past couple of months since his inauguration, and this news confirms that. First, you must understand who Palantir is. Palantir is the same company which can target any Palestinian in Gaza and make kill targets out of them, at will, for the IDF. The operation is a test run for what is coming to America using the exact same tech.
Yep.
Trump has allowed the technology industrial complex in Silicon Valley to completely take over his administration with Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, David Sachs, and J.D. Vance at the helm.
Yep.
So Trump was a Trojan horse when he said he was coming in to oppose the deep state. He was a Trojan horse who was filled with actual horseshit. So I wouldn't open the trap door if I were you, but I'm not you, so good luck. No matter what they may tell you, their vision is not one of America First freedom, but of self-recognized authoritarianism and our subservience to the state.
This is Nimrod. This is the modern day Nimrod. Esau Edom, baby.
With the creation of the Golden Dome, remember Trump put an extra $200 billion in the budget for the Golden Dome? Many believe the lie that this will be to protect America from outside attack. Seriously? When is the last time a missile was launched at America? But the reality is that this dome is actually a true to form version of Skynet. If you have seen the Terminator movies, you will know what I'm talking about. Basically, it will be the world's largest surveillance dome ran by AI drones, biometrics.
This is the modern day, let us build a tower up to the heavens. See? This is the same thing, but in a different time. And I constantly speak on this because the spirits just own me to constantly speak on it. Okay? That which is then is now. History repeats itself. There's a reason why this is called Babylon the Great. Babylon. This is it. Okay?
And Starlink satellites tracking your every move.
That's it.
I've been warning of this for a while, despite many who have attacked me, but the reality of the situation is that the Trump administration is working at warp speed to turn America into the same surveillance superstate nightmare like it is in China. Now, I showed you that other video where the billionaire Israeli guy said we have to be more like China and control people's speech on social media. The government control it. I just showed you that it was happening on CNBC today. That the government needs to take over people's speech on social media, so we just have one narrative like China does. The writing is on the wall with Palantir being officially tapped to not only make a database for the IRS, which we were totally lied to about being dismantled, but our own massive digital prison is being constructed right in front of our eyes. This data will be weaponized against us in the coming social credit beast system. And the Israeli billionaire tech guy said that. He said that every person who goes on social media will have to be registered with the government, and then the government can control what they say. And how? We'll use a ranking. The guy said it, a ranking, which is the exact same thing as a social credit score. So don't sit there and tell me that it's still better than Kamala, because she was never going to win anyhow. Trump was selected for this time to fulfill this plan, and there was no Democrat that could have pulled this off without much resistance. So if it was a Democrat expanding this, I've said this a million times. If it was a Democrat, just like Barack Obama.
If there was a Democrat doing this, these right wingers would be losing their damn minds. But because it's Trump, they're finding a way to justify it. See? This is the kind of stuff that Corey Holcomb should have came at Anton Daniels with. But he's a little too emotional. See? This is why ultimately the Lord has set up the prophets last, man. Everybody else is just through. You see? This Trump administration, this is it. They getting ready to make a move on the American people. This is what John the Revelator saw.
Obama got chosen to bail out the banks and ramp up the wars, because if it was a Republican doing it, there would have been a big opposition to it. Just like it was Barack Obama got chosen to bail out the banks, screw the homeowners, ratchet up the war on terror, and give us a healthcare plan that came right out of the health insurance industry and Big Pharma. Because if the Republican was doing that, there would have been a lot of natural opposition on the left to it.
Right. So this whole thing is a scam. This is the left-right paradigm, all right, which we always bring out. The two horns like a lamb, but now they're speaking as a dragon. And before Trump got in there, they showed you a weak, frail ruler in Biden. Now Trump is supposed to represent strength and machoism, you know, that bad, hubba Edomite spirit. It was all an act. Soon as Biden got out of office, all right, he started walking upright, smiling. Okay, probably did a cartwheel and went and joined an acting agency and became a 33rd degree Mason. It was just out of nowhere. Remember that? Showing this is all an act. Trump himself, this is all an act. These are characters, but they're really being set forth, all right, to lure you into this trap of the NWO. Okay? We're at the point where they're getting ready to say you have to bow to their image, which is this technocracy that they're setting up. Okay? And if you don't, you're going to be killed. Killed means separated, but also physically killed. Separated from fellowship with the system. You won't be able to buy. You won't be able to do these things. And then eventually that chip is coming, man. Right? This is where we're going. Based upon you, if you have a particular belief, if you're against this, if we via AI are able to label you any one of these extremism and this and that, then ultimately you can be jailed, you can be policed, you can be separated from our system. Because we need to know who's down with us. See, this is what all of this technology has been secret. They've kept you distracted, but secretly the technology it's already here. And Trump brought it in like never before. So you right wingers, you know, and some of them are having a hard time defending it, and he's keeping them, occupied with, look what we did to Venezuela. Look at the drug traffickers. Look at this. Look at the Somalians. Look at it. But this is what his ass is doing, man.
But then you have Barack Obama doing it, so it squelches and silences them. It puts the left to sleep. I've been saying that for 15 years. Barack Obama put the left to sleep, and now Trump is there to put the right to sleep over the complete surveillance state ramp up. It's time to face the facts. Because if they had Kamala Harris trying to do this, there'd be a lot of natural opposition to it from the right. They'd be screaming about it. But since Trump is doing it, the natural opposition to this shuts up. So Trump puts the right to sleep. It's time to face the facts. Both parties are just as bad as Republicans see the Democrats. It's just different faces, disguises, and personalities, which are put in place by the same masters to fool us into thinking we have a choice. We don't. You have owners. They own you. George Carlin told us that. And Palantir, by the way, has lots of customers, most of them in the government, the defense department.
And Palantir, which is really a thing, that comes from a movie. I believe it was Lord of the Rings? Palantir. Was Palantir in the movie? Yeah, Lord of the Rings. See? Yes, Palantir was a key magical artifact. Lord of the Ring, in Lord of the Ring, book in the books, a powerful seeing stone used. All right, basically to see, you know, I forget. It was a stone, basically a magical orb that allows communication and glimpses across vast distances, but can also show distorted visions. All right. As Iran used them to manipulate users. So here it is, something that was in a movie is now governing your world, showing you that this is all predictive programming, man. This is we're in a crazy situation now. Real quick as well, I'll tap into this real quick and then we'll get up out of here. Meta signs a nuclear energy deal to power Prometheus AI supercluster. All right. Now, Meta said it has secured agreements with energy companies Vistra, TerraPower, and Oklo, which are working on nuclear power technologies. They're planning to work together to eventually power Meta Prometheus supercluster computing system that's being built at a data center in New Albany, Ohio. Tech giants like Meta are investing heavily in nuclear power and signing deals with energy providers as a part of the massive investments in AI. So I asked here, and there's a video on it as well. What is AI Prometheus, and how does Bezos plan to use it? How does this mimic the myth of Prometheus? All right. It says, here's a clear, up-to-date explanation of Project Prometheus, the AI effort associated with Jeff Bezos. Okay. And these other tech trillionaires. Plus how the name Prometheus connects to the ancient Greek myth. All right. It says, there's articles on it you can look up. What is Project Prometheus? Okay. Project Prometheus is a new AI startup founded in 2025 with $6.2 billion in funding. All this money just going into these programs. And what do they do? Are they making money? What are they doing? No, they're setting up the NWO. Partly invested by Jeff Bezos himself, he is taking an operational leadership role as the co-CEO, the first time he's run a company since leaving Amazon in 2021. Okay. The startup has recruited top AI researchers from companies like OpenAI, DeepMind, and Meta. What it plans to do, unlike many AI companies focused on chatbots or text-based large language models. So you remember the Tower of Babel was dealing with language. All right. Project Prometheus is aiming at something different. AI for the physical world. Build AI systems that can accelerate engineering, design, and manufacturing. They're trying to make a name for themselves. All right. For computers, cars, spacecrafts, and more. Instead of just learning from text data, the models would learn from real world experimentation and feedback. Robots running tests and learning what works. The goal is to reshape how industrial and scientific innovation happens. This is the fifth industrial revolution. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'll ask here, how does this tie Fifth Industrial Revolution. The Wadi Habashmi Shah, I'm almost through this video. The internet has just giving me hell, man. But there you go. The connection between Project Prometheus, AI, and the Fifth Industrial Revolution is actually very tight. If the Fourth Industrial Revolution was about automation and data, the Fifth Industrial Revolution is about intelligent systems reshaping humanity itself. Okay? And pretty much you can look it up, but I wanted to tap into this because what is Prometheus? Okay? What is Prometheus? Prometheus refers to a Greek Titan god known for creating humanity and stealing fire from the gods, all right, to give to humanity, basically, leading to his eternal punishment. All right. And we'll show you how that ties into what they're doing, but it's basically a rebellion. Okay. It says it's also the name of a 2012 Alien film directed about a mission to discover humanity's origins. And this is what they're doing. And a Saturnian moon and other modern entities like AI startup. The myth highlights themes of foresight, rebellion, and double-edged nature of knowledge. So you see, in Greek mythology, the creator of humanity, the bringer of fire, punishment for his defiance. So these devils are just all out of there. But let's get this breakdown here because they kind of went into it here. The goal is to reshape how industrial and scientific innovation happens, speeding up prototype. These devils got to go. This is creepy, spooky, as the brother in London says. It's spooky, man. They got to go. Okay, like this is too much. Speeding up prototyping, materials discovering, and system optimization. The focus of physical AI, bridging digital intelligence and real-world physical systems, is a major shift from typical generative. And so AI is going to basically be the new way of life. Okay? It's going to be your government. And again, you're going to have to merge yourself with this to keep up via that chip. Okay? Bezos' public statement and action suggest industrial innovation aligned with other ambitions, yada, yada, yada. Broader AI impact. This is how the image is speaking now. Okay. Rome has now went digital. Okay. And the Greco-Roman Empire is now digital. They've tied it with AI. Okay. It says the name Prometheus is not accidental. It's reference a well-known figure in Greek mythology. Okay. Prometheus was a titan who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. He suffered eternal punishment for that act and was chained to a rock. All right. It says this mirrors the symbolic narrative around the AI project. All right. Fire equals technology, a gift that was given to humanity. All right. For humanity's empowerment. All right. It's basically, in myth, Prometheus is both a benefactor, bringing knowledge, and a rebel, being a rebel punished for overreaching. The startup's naming plays on that duality. Okay. They're playing with fire, man. Okay. The forbidden fruit. Okay. They know they're the wicked. Right? But in their pride, they don't think they're going to be punished. How the myth echoes modern AI debates. Empowerment. Just as fire enabled cooking, tools, and civilization, modern AI promises faster scientific breakouts, automated engineering, smarter industrial systems. This aligns with bringing fire to humanity. Okay? The artificial wisdom to upgrade humanity. All right? And backdoor the Most High. It says, risk and hubris. Prometheus' punishment was for challenging divine limits. And we just read in the book of Genesis where nothing would be refrained from them. Okay, this is where these devils are, man. It says critics see parallels in AI systems that could exceed human understanding, ethical safety and control issues in powerful AI, centralization of technological power in few hands. All right, the elites and analysts have noted that naming the startup Prometheus reflects optimism and arrogance. The belief that this technology will enable new capabilities, possibly without fully acknowledging broader risk. Okay? So this is crazy, man. So these devils are acknowledging that they're tapping into forbidden knowledge, man. And see, again, Revelation, the 13th chapter, right? Revelation 13 and 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So these are miracles. Okay? And when you look up the word miracle, right? Samion. Salaki, I'm rushing. I gotta lay my ass down. Okay. But so sleep is important. You get older, boy. That's staying up late. That shit is for the birds. But hey, we'll sleep in the kingdom too at the same time. It says a sign. It says that by which a person or a thing is distinguished from others and is known. So the Lord has, all right, showed us, given this man power so we can distinguish him and who he is. A sign, a prodigy, a portent, an unusual occurrence, transcending the common course of nature. That's what they're doing. They're trying to transcend via AI the common course of nature. Okay, and again, their first industrial revolution, the second industrial revolution, the third, the fourth, and now they're at the fifth. And merging man with machine is a big part of how this is all going to be completed. See that? Transcending the common course of nature. Okay? As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask in Revelation 13 and 14. Let's see here. In Revelation 13, 14, how does the word miracle tie to this technology? It's a miracle. Okay? We'll let that load if it does, but let's play this video here off of End Time Headlines. He's going into it. Prophetic implication of Meta's AI Prometheus supercluster. I haven't listened to this video. He brings out decent information, but once he tries to go to the scriptures, it's worse than call from an uprising. You just stick to bringing out conspiracy theories and information and articles. The breaking down the scriptures is not for you devils, man.
Here's the headline: Meta signs nuclear energy deals to power Prometheus AI supercluster. Meta said it has secured agreements with energy companies Vistra, TerraPower, and Oklo, which are working on nuclear power technologies. Wow. They're planning to work together to eventually power Meta's Prometheus supercluster computing system that's being built at a data center in New Albany, Ohio. So if you're tuning in from Ohio, this is in your neck of the woods.
Meta signing a massive energy deal, but investing in a different kind of power. For that, we'll turn to Julia Borston. Morning, Julia.
Good morning, Carl. Well, Meta is making nuclear deals to help power its data centers and its AI ambitions. It's partnering with Vistra, Oklo, and TerraPower, saying these agreements will unlock up to 6.6 gigawatts of clean nuclear energy. That's more than the total demand of New Hampshire. Oklo and Vistra shares both popping about 13% on this news today. Meta's chief of global affairs, Joel Kaplan, joined Energy Secretary right this hour. Kaplan saying it is investing in the future of the American economy.
Our agreements with Vistra, TerraPower, and Oklo, and the one we signed with Constellation Energy last year, make Meta one of the most significant corporate purchasers of nuclear energy in American history. These projects are going to create thousands of skilled jobs, add new energy to the grid, extend the life of 3 existing nuclear plants, and accelerate new reactor technologies.
Meta shares are down about 14% since its last earnings, when the company warned that this year's capital expenditures would increase, quote, at a significantly faster pace, citing primarily infrastructure costs. Now, with 2025 capex estimated at as high as $72 billion, up from $39 billion in 2024, this nuclear deal could impact what significantly means. Now, Meta is not disclosing the financial terms or how much this power will cost.
Now, let's talk about this. What is an AI supercluster? Well, this is a massive concentration of computers built specifically to train and run advanced AI intelligence systems. This is all part, guys, this is all interwoven into this whole Stargate project, by the way. This is exactly what Trump and Stargate and all of those tech giants, this is what they're pursuing. Think about it like this. A normal computer handles tasks one at a time. A data center handles thousands at once. But an AI supercluster handles millions or even billions of calculations simultaneously, all working together as one system. In plain terms, and
yeah, the internet's tripping. You know, we'll finish, you know, these lessons in another time, but we'll finish these videos and go into this topic. But this did load. I'll read a little bit of this. In Revelation 13 and 14, how does the word miracle tie to this technology? This is an excellent, very precise question. All right, because Revelation 13 hinges on what kind of miracle scripture actually means. It's not what modern people usually think. Okay, let's walk this textually, linguistically, shut the man. Just give me the damn answer, man. The word in Revelation, we already broke down a word. All right. It does not mean supernatural power, divine healing, God originated wonders. But see, they have these things on the left-hand side. Signs and lying wonders. It's the 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. It means a sign, a marker. All right. A display meant to point the observer to a conclusion. And yes, we read what it meant, but you know, it also means transcending human capabilities. Okay, this is a big. So I don't know why don't Israelites see this? That this is the MOTB system being set up. Wow. Now Nate is trying to hint at it, but it's like, come on, man, what's wrong with you guys? Okay, in other words, a convincing demonstration that proves authority. And the Lord has blessed this man with left-hand power that proves this is the ruler of the end time world, the revival of Rome. All right, biblical pattern signs can be technological or deceptive. Pharaoh's magicians were able to do the same thing with their magic in Exodus 7 and 11. Okay. Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 3 in the NLT. If a prophet performs signs or wonders but leads you away from the Lord, you must not listen. Yada, yada, yada. I'm not asking for a sermon, dude. Let's see here. Yeah, well, this is a good one. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9 NLT. This man will come to do the working of Satan with counterfeit power and signs and miracles. The word counterfeit, all right, means technically impressive but spiritually empty. It means pseudoscience. Okay? How this directly ties to modern technology. Now we connect Revelation 13 and 14 to AI, advanced tech, and Industry 5.0, which is the 5th Industrial Revolution. What would ancient people call these things? All right. A first century observer, AI intelligence would be a miracle. Fire from heaven. Missiles, energy, weapons, spare tech, miracle. Yeah, so Prometheus, like he took fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. Well, this is what basically they're doing through this AI and technology. Okay. And they're not, you know, I mean, we're able to play with these little things they got set up like, you know, Chat GPT and stuff like that, but they got a whole nother thing going that the elites have access to. It says an image that speaks, okay, which, you know, we always go into the image of the beast. Global economic control, miracle, predictive behavior modeling, miracle, not magic, not angels, technology so advanced it appears divine. See, this is what we're witnessing. Fire from heaven, okay, in the form of, you know, the weaponry that this devil has been blessed with. Okay. Let's see here. Revelation says the beast is allowed power. I mean, this chat just went too deep. I ain't, you know. God damn. Chat high. That nigga smoking that artificial weed. Well, you know, this lesson has kind of run its course. We'll tap back into this though, because basically we always break this down. He you know, they don't have a breakdown. I just wanted to see what it would say, because basically this is it. This is what John the Revelator witnessed. This is what's deceiving people to believe that, you know, this actually means well, but we showed you what they have planned with these systems, man. Let's see if this loaded some more. Nope. Yeah, the internet's tripping. But we'll be back, you know. Point was made through the spirit. Yeah, that's it, man. So hopefully I will edify. And this is why in the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter, it's going to be so bad that Michael is going to have to stand up and to defend us. That could be spiritual power. Who knows how that's going to look? Hey, but this is the type of power we're going to have to tap into, man. Daniel 12:1. And at that time, Michael shall stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there should be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation even unto that time. And now we see AI and their left-handed blessing and the force they're going to show on the earth has everything to do with this. And at that time, thy people should be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book of life. All right. Knowledge is being increased. Okay. So, Lord willing, y'all will edify. Shalom.